kids.
Double.
Eat them all. Eat them all.
Take on the bed. Bed.
Not bedtime,
And the question is, does Jesse have non-verbal autism or does Jesse have partial verbal autism? Let's discuss. Quick disclaimer, I am not a speech therapist, I am not a pediatrician, I am not medically or early childhood trained in any fashion. I'm just the father of a 13-year-old son, Jesse, who has autism. But as a disclaimer, please do not take any of this as medical advice or opinion on your loved one who's in a similar or non-similar situation. Thanks.
Kennedy! No. I will take on that. Check off! Kennedy, go check on that. Take off!
In this video, we're going to discuss the difference between verbal autism and non-verbal autism. With my son Jesse, I've often wondered whether non-verbal is the correct way to explain his lack of functional communication. I've come now to realize that obviously it's a broad spectrum on the autism disorder spectrum and on the functional use of language for children, teenagers, and adults on the autism spectrum. The reason I found it difficult to say Jesse was non-verbal is that Jesse is verbal. He's very verbal. He makes lots of sounds. He sometimes puts a couple of words together in a sentence. He can repeat phrases over and over for a long time. He can sing his own tune in humming and even follow the words of a song in a limited fashion. And the bottom line is he's very verbal. He's not non-verbal. So he certainly uses his voice box to make noise and to communicate. The issue is that it's very limited in its functionality, and that means in its usefulness in communicating to others what he wants, what he desires, what he wants to express, his feelings, his thoughts to another person. So yes, while many have called Jesse non-verbal, and often for the sake of ease of understanding to people in the community, even medical people, we can say Jesse is non-verbal. But the reality is he is verbal. And so what is this difference? Because there are people on the autism spectrum who are completely non-verbal, who don't make any use of their voice in any form of spoken communication. So in reality, Jesse has partial verbal autism. He definitely uses his voice to communicate, but it's in a limited fashion. Therefore, it's partial verbal autism. Now we'll watch a bit of footage of Jesse, and during that, I'll do some more in-depth explanation of verbal and non-verbal autism. After that information, I'll play some videos where you can actually see Jesse's vocalization and see his partial verbal spoken language in action. And you'll see that it's very limited in functionality, but he is certainly verbal or partially verbal. Non-verbal autism refers to a developmental delay where a person is unable to use spoken words to communicate, but may still understand language and use other methods of communication. Partial verbal autism, also referred to as minimally verbal or semi-verbal, describes individuals who can speak some words or phrases, but their communication is limited. Non-verbal autism is characterized by the absence of functional spoken language, though it doesn't mean a complete lack of understanding or communication. Individuals may use gestures, sign language, communication boards, or other assistive technologies to express themselves. They may also comprehend spoken language even if they cannot produce it themselves. Partial verbal autism describes a spectrum of abilities where individuals use limited spoken language, which can vary in intelligibility and frequency. They might use a few words or phrases, but their ability to engage in conversation or express complex thoughts verbally is restricted. Their communication methods might include some spoken words combined with gestures, AAC, augmentative and alternative communication, devices, and/or other nonverbal strategies. Nonverbal individuals do not use spoken words to communicate, while partial verbal individuals have some verbal ability, but it is limited. Nonverbal individuals rely on nonverbal methods like gestures, AAC, or other assistive technologies. Partial verbal individuals might use a combination of spoken words and nonverbal methods. Both nonverbal and partial verbal individuals can understand spoken language, even if they have difficulty producing it themselves.
Baby call. Baby call. Baby. Baby call. Baby call. Baby call.
As you can see, Jesse is very verbal. Therefore, I think we can safely say that Jesse is partially verbal. So I hope this video has given you a little bit of understanding around verbal, non-verbal, and partial verbal on the autism spectrum. So there's not simply verbal and non-verbal. There's also this partial verbal or semi-verbal, which covers a lot of people. I think the more fluent spoken people would probably prefer to call it semi-verbal, whereas someone with low functional verbal would probably be called partial verbal autism. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to share them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
In